y'all, it's Kay from the Literary Apothecary, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another episode of Books My Boyfriend Gave Me. Today we're going to be talking about A Feast for Crows by George R.R. Martin. This is book 4 in A Song of Ice and Fire series. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I'll talk about why in just a minute. But first, just a really quick spoiler-free summary of this book. Of course, as always, this is going to give away some spoilers for the first 3 books. So if you haven't read the first 3 books in this series and you don't want to be spoiled, then stop here and thank you for the views. But if you want to continue, here we go. Spoiler-free summary. This is going to be really quick because there's not a lot you can talk about without spoiling. Tommen is still king. He's king in King's Landing, and the Lannisters are in power. The Martells of Dorne and the Starks, of course, of Winterfell are out now for vengeance for their dead. And it is really interesting to see these players moving around. More on that in just a minute. Samuel Tarheatley is now a maester, and he's brought this mysterious babe. We know this babe as the baby from the Wall, Mance Rayder's baby, but no one else knows it's him. Samuel has brought him to the Citadel, and things ensue from there. So a really quick summary that I felt really captured this book from Goodreads. Against a backdrop of incest and fratricide, alchemy and murder, victory will go to the men and women possessed of the coldest steel and the coldest hearts. And that was, I felt like, really good summation in one sentence of this book and this whole series, really. What I loved about A Feast for Crows, a couple things. First, we get different character points of views. Y'all know how much I love the side characters, and we get those in here, and it's so good because these characters are pretty important to the story going on in this series, but this is the first time that we really get to see things from their points of view for an extended period of time, and I absolutely love that idea. I need more of that, and we're getting that in book 5 also, but that is absolutely my favorite thing from this book, Feast for Crows. We also get to see, because of these different characters like the Martells of Dorne, we get to see this world expand even more. We see different parts of this world. We see Dorne and all the Dornish, how the Dornish people act. We see the Iron Isles and all of the sea and all of that. We just see a lot of different parts of George R.R. Martin's world that we've heard about in the other books, but we didn't really get to see a lot in the other books. We see, going along the lines of these different point of views, we see some of the same events from book 3, but from different points of views in A Feast for Crows, and I love that writing technique. Just give us the same event and all these different points of views, because there's all different people witnessing these events, and they all have different reactions and different experiences with it, and I absolutely love that. The other thing that I loved about A Feast for Crows was the humor. We got some really humorous moments in this book, and I've got 2 quotes later on that kind of showcase this humor, but I wasn't expecting this book to be as funny as it was. It's kind of that dry sense of humor, that grotesque almost sense of humor that just fits this series so well. So you might be wondering, well, it sounds like you really loved this book, so why did you give it 4.5 and not 5 stars? For me, I did not feel as connected to the characters and the events as I had in some of the other books. And I think that was at least partly because I was falling into a bit of a reading slump while I was reading this book. And so I think maybe it might change on a reread. I think maybe it would be, you know, a little bit, I would react to it better on a reread. But that was the main reason why I gave it 4.5 and not 5 stars. Just a slight disconnection for me, but I still really, really loved A Feast for Crows, and I'm loving A Dance with Dragons even more. So my 2 quotes that I have for you all. The first one says, "The path of faith was a crooked one," and that made me laugh so much. This is the weird, twisted sense of humor that George R. R. Martin puts into his books. And then the second quote says, "What Zonda lacked in vocabulary, he made up in volume," and that just captures that one character so well. The other quotes that I wrote down were kind of spoiler quotes, so I'm not going to say them here, but my full review is up on my blog. You'll find a link in the description below. I think I already have my reading vlog up for this, so I will link that down in the description below too. If you've read this series before and you want to follow along as I'm reading it, go check out the reading vlog there. If you've read this series, let me know in the comments below, what was your thoughts on A Feast for Crows? Did you love it as much as I did, or did you find a sense of disconnect also? As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.